Teaching 117. People, rest on solid ground, stop your step under the shade of this palm tree and listen to my voice so that you can heal all your ills, recover your strength and be able to continue your walk. See that you do not need to tell me the sorrows of your heart, or where you come from, because I know everything. I know that your spirit comes from a great struggle and has tried to move away from crooked paths. You come to seek support and strength in me, so as not to lose heart. When you were about to weaken, when your energies were already running out, you rose to me to ask me for help and I instantly responded, calling you to this oasis of peace, so that you could have a respite from your pain. How many of my teachings have you understood and analyzed since the moment you first heard this word? In it you understood that the spirit is not perfected in a day, nor in a year, nor in a life, because having an eternal nature, its journey has to be long to achieve its perfection. You have also learned to listen to the voice of conscience, which always speaks to you of law, love, goodness, righteousness and purity, coming to distinguish it from that other voice that comes from the senses of the flesh or from the passions of the heart, which does not always lead to the right path. You already know that you have weapons to defend yourselves, you also know what the shield is that protects you, so you have begun to make use of prayer, good thoughts, willpower and faith. You have learned to give the parts that make up your being their proper place in life, understanding that what is essential is in the spirit and that after it, occupying a worthy place, are the feelings and the mind. You now know that true spirituality in man does not consist in separating from what belongs to material life, but in harmonizing with all creation, and that the spirit to achieve that harmony needs to walk ahead, be above the human, in a word, to be the guide. Otherwise the spirit is a slave to the flesh. You know that on my path you cannot feign love, purity, or knowing, because instantly you feel a gaze that penetrates and judges everything. You know that for your merits to be real, your virtues and your works must be true. If I speak to you like this, it is not because I come to demand the supreme perfection, but to ask you to make an effort to achieve it. Now, when you suffer, when you go through a hard test, or when you find yourself in the bed of pain, you know that the cup cleanses and renews you, that the reflection makes you atone for faults. It is a wise lesson for the spirit, and then you drain it with patience and conformity. You have come to understand that I am building a temple in each one of you, and you no longer dare to destroy what has been built, but try to collaborate with me in this work. You have well understood that it is not before men whom you must make merits to receive praise or reward from, but before your Father, the only one who can value your works. If you understand all these lessons of love that I give you, no matter how reluctant your matter is and how strong your passions are, a submission of the flesh towards the spirit will have to be born, which will be a principle to achieve the harmony and order that they must exist in man to worthily call themselves my son. The future of many beings depends on you presently, beloved people, do not doubt it. So think about this. Get rid of the last remnant of selfishness that you harbor and work for tomorrow, peace, unification, morality and spirituality, which are essential for the new generations to find the way prepared. Do not doubt that you will be able to carry out this work in the world, because it is not the first time that I entrust you with my seed. Proof of this is that I speak to you in this way and you understand me. This is the continuation of my lessons, but not the consummation of time, as interpreted by man. The world will continue to rotate in space, the spirits would continue to come to Earth to incarnate to fulfill their destiny, men will continue to populate this planet and only the way of life among humanity will change. The transformations that human life undergoes will be great, so much so that it will seem to you as if one world were ending and another was being born. Just as in all times the life of man has been divided into eras or ages, and each one of them has been signified by something, either by its discoveries, by the divine revelations that men have received within it, by the development of the sense of the beautiful, which you call art, or by its science, so I tell you, that this time will be marked by the development of the gifts of the Spirit, that part of your being for which you should have begun to cultivate yourselves to avoid so many evils and errors. Do you not believe that human life could be totally transformed, developing your spirituality, cultivating your gifts and establishing the law of consciousness on earth? Ah, if you could realize all that your spirit possesses. But you do not know it, despite the millennia that you have been inhabiting the world and space, because in your egoism, which is love towards yourselves, you have only cared about science at the service of material existence. I will be the one who discovers before you the virtues, gifts, beauties, powers and wonders that are hidden in your spirit, since this is the right time, because you are reaping the last fruits of an era. Soon all peoples will recognize that I, their Lord, have spoken to them in each of the eras that humanity has gone through, each one of my revelations being like a rung on the spiritual ladder that I have tended to so that you all may ascend to me. This time will be called the time of light, the age of the Spirit, or the time of truth, but I tell you, that it will be the time of the elevation of the spirits and that of their vindication. The Spirit is the temple built by me, a sanctuary continually profaned by man. But the era of light prophesied so many times has arrived, whose clarity will be seen by all, and under whose warmth all the children of the Lord will unite. I am not talking about a religion that welcomes some and rejects others, that proclaims its truth and denies truth to others, or that uses unworthy weapons to impose itself by force or fear. No, I am simply speaking to you about a law, explained by a doctrine, which is precisely the message that I have revealed to you at this time through this word. So when the time comes to get up to give the good news, you will preach peace, love, charity, unification and fraternity with deeds, but if on your way you find someone who is hypocritically preaching the same as you, but falsifying the truth, with your works you will expose the lie. If, on the other hand, you meet your brothers who by example preach truth, love and charity, then you will join them, because their fight and yours will be the same. I cannot fail to tell you that if you find yourself impure and unprepared, you will feel unworthy to carry out this work. So, when you see that others rise up to fight with true faith and purity, do not block their way, because your responsibility before my justice would be doubled. I warn you of everything so that nothing surprises you, and thus, when arising for this fight, you truly know how to awaken the ideal of elevation. This land, which has always sent to the afterlife a harvest of spirits sick, tired, disturbed, confused or with little advance, will soon be able to offer me fruits worthy of my love. Sickness and pain will gradually be banished from your life, leading a healthy and elevated existence, and when death comes, it will be found prepared for the journey towards the spiritual mansion. Who can get lost or confused when entering the home of the Spirit, if already from this life he had sensed it in the moments of praying, meditating, dreaming or being inspired by my law? Now so much peace and so much good seems unattainable to you, and it is because you look at all the confusion that reigns around you, confusion that you know will increase in all spheres of human life. But I tell you to trust in me, to watch, pray and be the tireless hours, so that this stormy night lets the light of the new dawn appear and the earth feels how its new inhabitants come to sow it with noble works, restoring and rebuilding how much the foolish and profane destroyed and stained. People, on this day I have revealed to you part of my divine plans for you, I have told you something that belongs to the future and I have prepared you for the fight that is approaching all of humanity. Meditate well and you will feel strengthened, because truly I tell you, blessed are those who are reading in this book that reveals my word to you. In it you have found many lessons that were ignored by you. I wanted to make myself heard by those who have nothing on earth, in order to later make use of them. I have chosen you among the humble, as in all the times when I have sought my servants among the simple of heart. You already know that the owners of wealth in the world are always busy with it and do not remember me. A time is entrusted to them so that they may worship what they love so much, but the time will always come to listen to my voice, to take up their cross and follow me, but first they will purify themselves in the crucible of pain. Beloved disciples, there are only 7 years left, which will be 7 dawns in which you will be able to listen to me. I want you to leave behind your hesitations and firm up your steps, so that you can tell me when the year 1950 arrives, Lord, unification has been achieved among us and we present to you proof of our spirituality in our fraternity. This people knows that I only await their elevation to make my voice heard in their conscience, when I tell them, people, arise and multiply like the dust of the earth, cross valleys, cities, deserts and seas and spread this teaching with love and humility. My omnipotent charity will open paths and erase frontiers. My love will protect you against any persecution or stalking, and I will put my word on your lips when the occasion requires it. Great, very great is this work that I am entrusting to you, because I want you to be strong and great in spirit. Truly I tell you, that in the heart of your Father there can be no shelter for selfishness. 7 years I entrust to the people who have received these blessed lands, so that they may collect fruits worthy of my divinity. People, have charity and patience with those who are taking their first steps. Advise them with the grace with which I have corrected you, love each other with the love with which I have loved you, and then there will be harmony between you. Come, my presence is like the shade of a tree, my word is like the song of a bird. Come to me, hungry and thirsty for justice, sick, poor in spirit and misunderstood, come to me. I do not reject you because of your poverty, nor do I despise you because of your condition. I know that deep inside each one of you there is a spirit that needs my light to rise to life. I bring health to the sick and hope to the troubled. None will go without consolation for their pain. But when you have achieved peace, you will feel invested with this dignity that I come to give you. Do not deny the world, nor its vicissitudes and sufferings, remember that they were the ones who brought you closer to me. Do not distance yourselves from your brothers either, on the contrary, now that you have seen how I receive you and how I give to you, move closer to them, doing in the needy what you have seen that I have done with you. For one of you who truly practices my teaching, many will be those who reach my grace. Prayer, charity, and goodwill is what you need so that your knowledge in my teaching shines like a brilliant light in the midst of darkness. Testing times are coming and I want all my disciples to be prepared. In the midst of peace or pleasure, humanity will not call you, but through pain, it will seek you. Prepare yourselves, because soon the pain will overflow over the world. Then you will be called by the sick, so that you can bring them my balm. Many of your brothers will request your prayers and will also seek your teaching to find the path that will lead them to spiritual elevation. Do you see how delicate and great is the mission that awaits you? Intimately you confess that the revelation that I have made to you at this time is great. If you know how to behave as my disciples, you will see greater lights in my work. Form the people of peace and spirituality, remove from your heart the last remnants of fanaticism that you keep, achieve purification through regeneration, and then I will give a sign in heaven that will be seen in the world, which will tell you that the day of the Lord has come. That will be seen even by the blind and understood by the rudest minds. Use the strongest weapon that I have entrusted to you, which is prayer, and pray that you do not listen to those who try to extinguish the flame of your faith. Alert, people, do not allow someone to cloud your heart, causing you to take the wrong path. You already know my law, it is the way, never deviate from it and you will have nothing to fear. If on earth there are those who seek to lose themselves and who pray for you, because they believe you are lost, think that in the spiritual there are those who watch over each one of your steps. Your celestial mother protects you under her mantle, Elijah takes care of you with the love of a spiritual shepherd, and your brothers who in the beyond live consecrated to good, protect you and advise you. This is how I speak to those who, in the midst of hesitation and doubt, are taking their first steps and often suffer blows and setbacks. Faith will soon be kindled in your hearts, and when this happens, nothing and no one will be able to turn it off. But first I have to give you my teachings, so that your heart is strengthened at the same time that your spirit moves away more and more from the superfluous. This is how you will rise. Then you will feel how the thirst for truth and love that you made present to me has calmed down, causing you to march full of strength and courage to fulfill your mission. I prepare you with infinite love because my lesson through these speakers will not be eternal. Soon you will stop listening to this word, and despite this you will have to be strong in the fight that will come when my word is no longer transmitted in this form. What will you do if you have not understood the Master's lesson? How can you defend your faith if you had not come to know the weapons that could help you defend yourself? Meditate on these words, because many will have to fall on their knees again before the idols, for not having known how to take advantage of my teachings. People, do not be deaf to my voice, nor interpret incorrectly my work. I have told you that you must make it known with the purity with which I have entrusted it to you. Listen to my voice so that when you hear that of your enemies, you will know how to free yourselves from their bonds and traps. Until now you have looked at life and humanity superficially, but I have come to show you the meaning and essence of all the lessons that I have revealed in the 3 eras, so that you have full knowledge of who you are, so that you embrace your destiny as the divine master, Christ embraced his cross, and love your fellow men in the Creator. All this is revealed to you and taught by my doctrine. Now I tell you, that the one who has been marked by me, do not feel superior to the one who has not received that sign, because many of them will give you proof of spirituality and of possessing gifts as great as yours. This is the time when the celestial bell is heard in infinity, calling men to congregate, inviting them to meditate and pray. Its echo vibrates ceaselessly in the depths of each heart, because it is the 3rd era, in which Elijah, as my envoy, is calling the spirits from one end of the world to the other to attend the proceedings. You of those who in that hour seek me through the Spirit and not through forms and images made by human hands, so that I can say that you are among those who have persevered in my law, since in it, the one who I delivered to you at Sinai, I ordered you that in order to adore me you should not place before your eyes any image that represents my divinity. If since then I have inspired spiritual worship, it is fair that you now offer it to me, O people, who at times lose hope of reaching complete regeneration in spirituality. See how I have lengthened your existence and how I have made you travel the path of restitution and evolution, so that at your pace and in your constant walk you leave every imperfection and every stain. Do you not see how the waters blackened by silt become purified in their swift current? Truly I tell you, it will happen with your spirit in the same way. I am the owner of the living and of the created, for what I tell you, that I am the only one who knows the Arcanum, eternity, and the destiny of all beings. If humanity were not obstinate in its ignorance, there would be another existence on earth, but men rebel against my mandates, deny their destiny, and instead of collaborating with me in my work, they look for a way to elude my laws, to do their will. I also tell you that if humanity carefully observed each of its acts, it would realize how at each step it rebels against me. If I spill my complacencies on men, they become selfish. If I allow them to savor joy, they reach excess. If I test their strength, in order to temper their spirits, they protest. And if I allow the chalice of bitterness to reach their lips to purify them, they deny life and feel they lose faith. If I put the burden of a large family on their shoulders, they despair, and when I lift one of their loved ones from the earth, they accuse me of being unfair. I never see you satisfied, I never hear that you bless my name in your trials, nor do I contemplate that you try, throughout your life, to labor in my work as the Creator. Do you not remember the examples that in Jesus I came to give you, by consecrating that life to glorify his Father? Jesus owned nothing on earth, and yet he never protested for his poverty. He had to leave his mother and his country and knew how to renounce everything, for love of the one who sent him. His work was arduous and his path painful until the end, but he never rebelled. He was persecuted and mocked, judged and finally killed, but from his heart, from his lips and even from his eyes, only blessings, forgiveness and consolation flowed for those who loved him, as well as for those who offended him. But not only in me can you find examples worthy of imitation. Remember the meekness of Abraham, when his Lord asked him for the life of his son, the patience of Job, who blessed me in each of his tribulations, and just like those examples, many more than you have come to know through history. Sometimes you are amazed when you see some sick person who patiently carries his cross, some blind or paralytic who blesses my will. On other occasions you fail to understand the conformity of a father who has just lost the son whom he loved very much, and it is that conformity, patience and compliance with God's designs are not conceived by the materialized men of this time, so far from the truth. It is I who is putting at your step those beautiful examples of humility, of obedience to my will and of spiritual elevation, so that you have models to imitate in your trials. I tell you that when this humanity does everything that is my will, pain will not be known on earth, because in its spirit will be my peace. My peace be with you. Teaching 1